I absolutely know I should not laugh, but DW looked so funny in this episode. It's awful, it shouldn't be funny, but she's an animated character, I'm allowed to laugh at her. DW Queen of the Comeback is the first segment in the ninth episode of the 14th season of Arthur, and DW is getting her hair cut, and for some reason, the barber wasn't very good and made an absolute mess of her hair to the extent where DW called herself Helmet Head. Honestly, it shouldn't be funny. It shouldn't be this funny. It's an animated character, but it genuinely is. And the Tibbles, unfortunately, start to make fun of her and call her Dennis and say horrible things to her. And initially, DW tries to find ways of making a smart or clever comeback to kind of take control of the situation. But there's a more important lesson to learn, and I'll discuss that lesson with a spoiler warning, I guess, as it kind of only unfolds in the second half of the animation. Honestly, every time DW was on screen, which is basically the entire thing, I couldn't look at her without laughing. I wasn't really laughing to begin with. There was the initial shock when we first see her with her hair like that. And then I thought, oh, that's a shame. That's not very funny. And then she called herself Helmet Head. And after that, I couldn't keep it together. Obviously, in real life, it would be truly awful. But at the same time, hair grows. It's always important to remember that hair does grow. But I really thoroughly enjoyed the episode. Very well animated. Obviously, DW was animated like that because it was meant to look shocking and slightly entertaining. So, a spoiler from now, I'll discuss the message that DW actually learns. And she learns this from a story from Mrs. McGrady. And the story is that you shouldn't give a comeback. Just ignore them. If they're bullying you, if they're giving you horrible names, don't call them anything back because they will then call you something back. And then you will have to then call them something back. And it will just go on and on forever. Just be the bigger person and walk away. I guess it's kind of sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me, which I don't think is true. I think words can be a lot more damaging long term psychologically than physical pain, sometimes of course. But if you just find that mentality of I don't care what you say, it doesn't actually change anything, then that is such a powerful thing. And that is the worst thing for bullies, to show that you are not affected by what they say, that you're not going to engage them in conversation, that you're not going to stoop to their level. That is the ultimate power. And I think DW learning that lesson, which I hadn't expected. I genuinely expected the episode to be about her finding, the perfect comeback, which would have been cool. But actually, the lesson that's learned is so much more important, and I think something we can all learn or learn from, because we all find ourselves in situations where we want to argue back or stoop to somebody else's level. But generally, there's no benefit to doing that in most situations. This is honestly, Helmet Head, I can't. It's a very funny episode. Very, very well animated. I'm such an evil person. In real life, I wouldn't laugh at a child if that happened. I genuinely wouldn't. But DW being a lovably annoying character, it just added to it. But it's got such an important message in it, such an important lesson as well. DW, Queen of the Comeback. I have to say, it's one of the most entertaining, but also most important episodes of Arthur to date.